I'm not going to accept that for the simple fact that actually you come to my constituency and you will see we have almost finished the completion of what will be £100 million flagship college of further education, which has been years and years and years in the creation. It is simply not true to say that
how many years? 12? Why couldn't it have been put there sooner?
Well, why couldn't everything have been started on day one? Of course not everything gets started on day one. Of course you have a whole programme of activities that includes expansion of universities and university places, creation of more apprenticeships, the whole of the New Deal programme, which started
feels like an afterthought,
the whole
Karen.
New Deal programme, which started within weeks of the government being elected in 1997, which was targeted at young unemployed, at the older unemployed, at people with disabilities, at lone parents, and which is a massive investment in skills and support for people who had been unemployed. All of those things have to be put together.
You deny that the whole principle was just stuff as many kids into university as possible, and then suddenly went, oh dear.
No, I don't think.
But the reality is, the government have been talking about vocational. We've got we've got a skills bill talking about it today in Parliament, and it's too late. We needed those people rather than just simply now queuing up in the job centre, going on to New Deal, getting depressed about no job at the end of it, being actively engaged in employment, in apprenticeship skills, and having these schools that were technically based rather than just simply these diplomas and the rest of it. It's too late, and sadly, we've got the consequences now.
But how come apprenticeships have increased tenfold?
We will come back to... Clearly it's not enough, but we will come back to this conversation in just a few minutes' time. You're listening to London's biggest conversation. This is LBC 97.3, and the time now is 8:16. And it's time for your travel now with Alan Joyce. Hi, Alan.
Hello, Petrie. The A2 in Welling has now fully reopened.
7.3.
I was listening to James O'Brien this morning, actually, when I was out and about. He's good, isn't he? He's good. You want to have a listen to him tomorrow. This is the LBC Parliament, and with me in the studio this evening, our panel, is Karen Buck, who's a Labour MP for Regent's Park and Kensington North, David Burrows, Conservative MP for Enfield Southgate, and Ed Fordham, who's a prospective parliamentary candidate for Hampstead and Kilburn for the Lib Dems, who've got your trainer wheels on.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
It's very sweet, isn't it? You see, what you've got to do is get them at the beginning of their careers, and then they talk to you when they're right at the top. Ed.
I can't believe people wouldn't talk to you.
Yeah, right. OK, we're talking about unemployment at the moment, youth unemployment particularly. Now, are you the parent of a young person who isn't finding work? Give us a call. These are MPs. They need to hear directly from you as well what's going on. Maybe you are a young person yourself who's got a degree in something really handy like media. Why did you do it? And you can't get a job. Give us a call now, 0845 6060 973 and text 84850. Do you think that the education policy that we've been following for the last 12 years has been the right one, the right decision? Or are you a completely overqualified bartender? 0845 6060 973, text 84850. David, before the break there, we were discussing, David Burrows, about the education of young people. And it feels like that there was such a drive to push, and there's nothing wrong with pushing children into higher education, but not all are suited to it. But it felt like everybody had to do it. Is that the way you view it? And how are you, if you do get into power, how are you going to do it differently? You're going to stop people from going to university?
No, we're not. I mean, people need to, if people want to go to university, they can do. But what people need to realise that it's not just about getting into university, getting to that place, getting a diploma, getting a qualification. It is about getting a skill. And it's the skills that matter, and it's the looking where we need those skills. We need to have those technical, vocational skills improved. We need to increase the spaces in that. And we will do that. We will make sure that where there's a pot of money at the moment for this Train to Gain scheme, we will drive it into places on vocational courses to make sure also primarily it moves into apprenticeships. And that's where it is. We need to make sure that they're not just simply spending time studying and hoping above hope that they do get a job at the end of it, that they are very much engaged from early stage with those employees.
Ed Fordham for the Lib Dems. I bang on about Germany a lot because I lived there for a while. And their education system is one that is very, very interesting. I mean, for a start, they educate up until they're probably about the age of 30. Yeah. But during that time of education, they're doing on-the-job training. They do a lot. Like, for example, a makeup artist cannot be a makeup artist unless he or she has got so many hours behind them, so many certificates with them. And what that does is it pushes people into the workplace while they're being educated and gets them used to the idea of is it time that we looked at education in a completely different way as we go forward? I
mean, I worked in higher education for years, in Nottingham University and others, and I just think that we've got it the wrong way round. There's this notion that the degree unlocks everything, and it's just not true. And actually, on-the-job learning is much better. I can't sit there myself and read a computer manual. I can play with a keyboard and sort of grope my way through a new program. So my style of learning is different to an academic textbook. But I just think the government, and actually, I wince, but the Conservatives unlocked this bugbear. They absolutely said university is the way forward. We've benefited from it. You shall go through it as a party. And they just drove people. I was there when they abolished polytechnics, when they scrapped grants, when they brought in loans, and it unlocked this long-term problem, generational. This is, the Labour Party have had 12 years to turn it round, but these things don't happen overnight. It is a 25-year problem that has been created in this country, and I just think vocational learning is so powerful. If you want to be a mechanic, you can read all the textbooks you like, get all the degrees you want. The bottom line is lay underneath the car to understand the engine, and that whole culture has been stripped away by successive governments.
I totally agree with you. I mean, my personal bugbear is the media training, media degrees, because, frankly, you learn on the job. I mean, if you imagine if there was a degree to become a politician, actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea, would it?
Some people might fail it. Hang on.
I think rather like the driving test we'd have to take again, we'd all be in trouble.
Too many professional politicians.
It's one way to get rid of them, though. Michael has called us from Margate. Good evening, Michael.
Evening.
What would you like to say to our panel this evening?
Well, I'd just like to know why there ain't anything in place. Like, my daughter, she left school when she was 16. She went to college and she's done uni, and she's 24 now. She's finished uni this year. She's got a degree and all that, and she still can't find a job.
What's her degree in, Michael?
She's got a degree in IT, and she's got A-levels in chemistry and all that.
Oh, sensible girl.
And she's on job seekers allowance. Why aren't there something in place? These kids are doing all these years at uni and that, and this government and the previous government just don't care.
You see, the German model...
Ed for you. Ed Fordham's going to answer you here, Michael.
With the German model that was mentioned earlier, it is one whereby you get a job at 21, and that's part of your degree. It actually takes you through. You don't suddenly leave university and then, bang, find a job. The job is an integral part of the learning process, and I think culturally we just got it the wrong way round. And that would change everything.
I think it is just worth pointing out, though, that contrary to what I think Ed was saying, that actually unemployment and youth unemployment are worse in almost all of continental Europe than they are here. And that, that does have to be put, as a context to all of this. Now, we have got a serious problem at the moment, and there is a very serious problem across America and continental Europe and, in fact, most of the world. The first and most important thing that we have to do is get the economy turning round and generating jobs again. I mean, that is more important than almost anything that you do in terms of the supply side and the training side. And if we can't actually create the jobs, then it doesn't matter whether people are going through apprenticeships or training schemes or university or whatever.
Can I ask the caller?
Then we're not going to create the opportunities.
Michael, just hang on just 1 minute, because David Burrows wants to ask you something.
Can I ask you, what's been the experience at the Job Centre Plus in terms of trying to find a job or get some extra help or assistance?
Nothing there. She's applied for so many jobs, and there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
And is she applying locally? What kind of things is she looking for?
She's applying for everything. At the minute, she's even doing voluntaries, going down to a voluntary centre to teach people how to use computers.
Good, that's fantastic.
a very good thing. Very wise of her.
But I'll tell her, what's the point in doing that if you're teaching it and there's nothing out there for them?